Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys another Black Clover discussion. And today we're going to be doing a bit of a follow-up to the last Black Clover manga chapter, which left off on a bit of a cliffhanger. Yuno was placed in a situation where he needed to make a decision. Did he save Asta or did he save Yami? Who would be the best bet to bring down Lucifero? One has an anti-magic sword and the other has a world tree magic sword that can be combined with Yami's own dark magic. It was the decision of a literal lifetime because picking the wrong person could mean death for everyone there. If Asta was the correct choice, then by backing Yami, Yuno potentially got everybody killed. If backing Yami is the right choice, then and he ended up backing Asta instead, then the same thing would be true here. It was a lose-lose situation for Yuno, which makes this scene hit that much harder given the stakes. As we all know, Yami was the person that Yuno chose, but I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into Yuno's decision here because I think we could be seeing Tabata play with a even deeper setup here, and I think this could be brilliant writing. So Lucifero stated it didn't matter. Whoever appeared in front of him, he was going to end up killing. He already stated that he plans to kill Asta and that he views Asta as a threat. Yuno just picked Yami as the person he wanted to save. The reason why I think that this is a setup is we now have Yuno in a position where if he picks the wrong person, in this case by picking Yami, Yuno could be setting himself up for despair, the likes of which he's never seen before. Yuno has been through his own fair share of adversity, from being a baby who was being hunted as he was being carried out the Spade Kingdom to being viewed as being a commoner in the Clover Kingdom as he rose up through the Magic Knight ranks and had to prove himself. However, if anything were to happen to Asta in this very moment right here, Yuno will be facing the worst kind of despair here, which is knowing that if Asta is harmed or even potentially killed, it's going to be his fault and his fault alone because Yuno was the one who chose incorrectly. Now this is huge, and I'm going to explain to you why. It's because Yuno has a 4-leaf grimoire. As we all know, whenever the person who possesses a 4-leaf grimoire falls into the deepest and darkest form of absolute despair, the grimoire then becomes corrupted by the despair and hatred, and it transforms into the 5-leaf grimoire. A grimoire of a 5-leaf can be taken and it can be possessed by a devil, which then allows the devil to manifest his true power. Right now, we literally have the king of the devils on the battlefield fighting against somebody who has a 4-leaf grimoire, and his best friend is potentially in a situation where he can be killed. That's a lot of breadcrumbs that have been dropped there, and I don't think that that's by mistake. And here's why. You can bet that Lucifero has already taken notice of Yuno's 4-leaf grimoire. Lucifero is already in a position where he knows that he's in for one hell of a fight where he can be damaged and potentially killed. That's the whole reason why he said, hey, I acknowledge you. In fact, he's even begun exerting a little bit more effort in this fight. However, even though he's only at 50% manifestation, if he can drive Yuno into despair and take possession of his grimoire, we could see Lucifero use even more of his power, which would be the worst possible scenario for everybody on the battlefield. Yuno just picked Yami, which means that if we see Asta fall in battle here, it opens up the door for the stakes to be raised even higher once again, because Asta falling in battle and dying would give an already seemingly unstoppable enemy yet another advantage. This is very similar to what happened when Naruto was a weekly manga. Madoru Uchiha was looking like an absolute monster, an absolute savage. The guy ends up becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. He ends up getting both of his Rinnegan. He then absorbs the God Tree. He gets the Rinne Sharingan, and Madara at that point was the strongest that he'd ever been. He casted the Infinite Tsukuyomi. People weren't sure how Naruto and Sasuke were going to take him down, and as we all know, Black Zetsu happened. However, the reason why I say this is that Lucifero kind of feels like he's being built up for a very similar situation. The groundwork is already there too, because Julius made the prediction earlier on in the manga. He directly stated that Asta would die, which would line up with this belief here that Yuno is eventually going to be driven into despair. The more I think about this, the more it makes sense for narrative reasons and for raising the stakes of the story. Yuno grew up with Asta. He views him like a brother. He views him as the rival who pushes Yuno forward to do great things that he's already done and the great things that he's potentially going to do in the future. It's that rivalry effect. However, there's another deeper level of writing here that really makes this work. Yuno and Xenon, and that parallel that we have between them. We know from the flashback with Xenon of what happened when he lost his best friend during a battle with the devil. It was a major turning point for his character, and he was never the same ever since that moment. And Yuno is now in that same situation. While he was already tested to an extent when battling Xenon because of his situation with Longris, and showing that when push came to shove, he wouldn't make the same mistakes as Xenon in order to secure a victory. Longris wasn't his best friend, however, nor was he his true rival. He was a rival, but not his true rival. That belongs to Asta and Asta alone. This could be Yuno being served up yet again to see how he reacts, and Asta is that big red button that can be pushed to get that impact on Yuno and push him even further ahead. Now, this is obviously a shonen, so if this were to happen, we already know Asta is going to come back to life at some point. Black Clover is not one of those series that has the balls to kill off the main character and leave the main character dead like some of the other darker series that have been in Weekly Shonen Jump before. However, this is something that if it's done correctly, if it's executed right, Asta can die and be brought back and it doesn't cheapen the story. It would make the eventual triumph over Lucifero feel very earned because Asta would be that prodigal son returning home in this scenario being the world of the living and taking down the evil tyrant known as Lucifero. It would be the easiest layup out there, and I don't think Tabata will not explore this route, or at the very least not tease exploring this route. So far this year, I think we can all agree Black Clover's manga has been absolute fire. The only thing better than Black Clover's manga this year would be that dream threesome with Vonica and Vanessa. Lord knows I'd be on child support at the end of that shit, baby. Yo, that baby mama John would be crazy too, man. Like, one is an evil psycho devil bitch, and then the other one is a raging drunk who drinks so much of the breast milk probably tastes like booze. We're gonna have to put the baby in Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, horny crypto to the side for a second. Let's be real here. So this kind of feels like this is the only escalation left to take this fight if we want to have Lucifero feel like an even bigger threat than he already is. Like, he's already slapped up the captains and he's boxed with everybody on the battlefield. He's exerted his dominance. Either he's going to be taken down or he's going to get a power up via that grimoire and become even more dangerous and be used to fulfill Julia's prediction. However, I want to know from you guys, do you guys think that we're on Yuno Despair Watch? Let me know down in the comment section below. So always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.